and welcome to another episode of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black, coming to you live. Yes, all the way live from Black Pearl Studios, where we talk about Indiana politics from the left side of things. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I am. I'm doing some stuff, getting some stuff done, making things happen, talking to the people. I was up in Huntington County this week. I tell you what, this is going to be a Bohm kind of day because the Bohms up there, District 3, are doing really good stuff. They had their award ceremony last Monday night. It was fun. Got to eat some good food. Yes, and I mean really good food. Whoever made the lasagna, thank God I'm on a diet because I'm telling you the food was excellent. But of course, there's a whole lot that is going on at the State House. Let's talk about it. But before I get into my rant, guys, Today's show is brought to you by Bohms Unique Boutique. Click on the QR code. And for all Turn Left listeners, you can get a 10% discount on your order by using the code Democrat. Be sure to visit www.bohmsuniqueboutique.com. Love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So let's get to the rant. Let's talk about what's happening over in the State House real quick. This one's kind of not anything that I've really been talking about, but it kind of caught my attention because of, you know, how we always talk about we care about our military, things of that nature. The Indianapolis Star reports throughout the military's nearly 250-year history, soldiers have had the right to demand the military's version of a trial for a minor offense instead of accepting the punishment handed them by their commander. This right is now up for debate in the Indiana State House for members of the Indiana National Guard in two bills rapidly ascending through the legislative process. A debate that has split the often unified advocacy voice for veterans and raised questions over the rationale behind the bills. House Bill 1076 and Senate Bill 279 being pushed by Representative Chris Jeter of Fishers and Senator Aaron Freeman of Indianapolis propose stripping a Guard's member's ability to ask for a court-martial trial instead of a non-judicial punishment, which is the punishment a commander can decide after giving the soldier a chance to present their case. Another part of the legislation seeks to grant the adjudicated general, the head of the Indiana National Guard, the ability to convene higher level trials for serious crimes such as sexual assault, a power that currently lies only with the governor. Governor Holcomb has never exercised the power, and the Indiana National Guard says they have never made the request of him, despite there being 4 allegations of sexual assault last year. Opponents view the measure to remove a soldier's right to court-martial as shifting the burden of proof onto soldiers rather than the state, and stripping a right that protects soldiers against the possibility of commanders abusing their punitive power. In our society, in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. But what I've just described and what happens with this action is you're guilty until proven innocent. And I think that's a problem. And that quote was from, I did not get his name, my bad. But it was a general who was a veteran who says he's not necessarily down with this particular piece of legislation because it strips away the soldier's right to a court martial. Guys, I've never been in the military and I've never served because I'm a big chicken like that. But this is a bill that a couple of bills that apparently the National Guard is saying, hey, you know, folks they're not taking the punishment. They'd rather have a court martial. And the National Guard is saying they're not going to do the court martial because it costs money. It sounds to me like the National Guard doesn't really want to do the job and they're trying to push the job off on the judicial courts. So somebody has to pay for these trials. And the National Guard is saying, we don't want to do it. We want to put it off on the judiciary system. Guys, this is a very interesting. You guys chime in if you guys know more about this particular bill. I don't know much about it. I just saw it and I thought it was rather interesting that we're seeing some bills come through that are maybe contrary to what we normally see when it comes to our military. All right, this is some good news, I think. Chalkbeat reports Indiana students could soon be required to fill out the free application for federal student aid, a shift that supporters say could give students more money to go to college and convince more of them to enroll in higher education in the first place. The Indiana House Education Committee voted 11-1 Wednesday to advance Senate Bill 167, which would create the requirement starting the 2023-24 school year. Although there would be several exceptions, lawmakers also amend the bill Wednesday to have the requirements expire in 10 years. This money is going to be spent somewhere. When we have a chance to put our hands out, let's take advantage of it, says Senator Gene Leasing, a Republican and one of the bill's authors, told fellow lawmakers last week. The legislation would require all high schoolers to complete and submit a FAFSA by April 15th of their senior year, which is the deadline to be eligible for state aid in addition to federal aid. The bill includes exceptions for students at certain non-public schools and for students who have a parent sign a waiver. Minors can also, let me read that again. Emancipated minors can also sign it for themselves. So guys, hopefully your parents don't file extensions when it comes to taxes and when they file their taxes. Bottom line is I think this might be a good thing, because now you can go ahead and get signed up for money that you may not have normally known that was there for you. The caveat, I think, to that is because April 15th is the filing deadline for taxes, to file your taxes, you may not have all the information you need to fill out that FAFSA form, depending on when your parents fill out that form. So it could be a good thing only if parents abide by getting their tax return information in so that the kid can get it filed by April 15th. But if there's money out there for these students, let's see if we can try to get those students that money. And then the Indianapolis Star reports, this is some good news for the LGBTQ plus community. I'm excited about this. Senate Pro Tem Roderick Bray says he does not see a path forward for a bill targeting the Department of Child Services and transgender children. House Bill 1407, authored by Representative Dale Devine of Granger, proposes that DCS cannot remove a child from their parent solely on the basis of the parent not affirming their gender identity or consent to gender affirming healthcare. You guys know how I talked about being on the board of Trinity Haven. And I've seen a lot of kids get tossed out of the house. And you know, this is saying if the parent is not affirming and is doing things that are wrong to the child who is transgender, then they could be removed. Luckily, this bill is going to die. It passed in the House 58-33 in February, but it moved to the Rules Committee, where bills in the Senate often go to die. So I'm really excited about that. When we've seen a plethora of anti-LGBTQ plus bills circulating through both chambers, it's nice to see one that is dead. I'm taking it and I'm going with it. All right. So last couple weeks I've been watching Senator Johnson, and he's the person, I almost called him a bad name. He is the person that actually authored one of the anti-trans bills that would prevent parents from making medical decisions on whether or not to do gender affirming care to their kid, right? He's one of the ones that authored that bill. Well, just so you know, this had nothing to do with legislation, but the Indianapolis Star reports Senator Tyler Johnson, a Republican from Leo, which is just outside of Fort Wayne, is being sued for malpractice in a wrongful death lawsuit after a woman reportedly died less than an hour after his treatment. Johnson works as an ER physician. A lawsuit filed May 2022 alleges his treatment caused 20-year-old Esperanza Umana of Fort Wayne to have a heart attack, resulting in her death, according to court documents. The lawsuit seeks damages from Johnson, Parkview Hospital, and professional emergency physicians to cover her medical expenses, burial and funeral, and child care costs for Umana's son. Johnson's attorney, as well as professional emergency physicians, have declined to comment Park Hospital could not be immediately reached. So a guy that is authoring legislation to prevent, parents from making medical decisions about their kids has a malpractice lawsuit. Y'all do what y'all want to with that. Sounds to me like he shouldn't be. Well, I'm not going to say that because it may just be just one isolated incident where he caused a death. But considering that he's being sued for malpractice, I would think that he probably should not be authoring bills to tell parents what kind of medical decisions they should make for their body. Y'all tuck that away. Y'all do what y'all want to with that. I don't know. Speaking of Indiana's own Dana Black, guys, I know that you are candidates running for office and you need affordable digital content. Let me tell y'all something. I was in a training session this week, and you know how you're not always sure if you're able to do a thing and you see other people doing it. I was in a training session with an Emmy award-winning content creator, and I can do what he can do. I am really excited about that. So yes, I'm not saying I'm super good, but I'm just saying you're going to get quality content if you want to be able to keep some of your money in your pocket. Reach out to me, scan the QR code so that you can find out about how I can help you with your digital content. 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, no more than that because ain't nobody finna listen that long. Get at me so we can talk about how we can get your content created so that you can get your message, share your message with your constituents. All right. Now let me get to my guest. I've had a chance to watch my man shine over there in Bloomington. Nicole makes it hard for me to leave that city, but I meet a whole lot of great people over there. And he's also been he's been with Nicole, helping her start up the Black Caucus down there. He's a realtor. I'm going to let him tell his story, but I'm excited to have my guest on tonight. He is running to be mayor of the city of Bloomington. He's looking to make history in Bloomington. Y'all give it up for my guest tonight, Donald Griffin, running for the mayor of the city of Bloomington. Donald, welcome to the show.
I am so excited. Your spirit it's catching. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm always happy to be around you, Dana.
I love it. I love it. And thank you so much for being here. And guys, if you like what he's talking about and you want to donate to his campaign, his Act Blue link is right there. Click on the donate link, donate to his campaign if you like what he is talking about. And as usual, all appearances on a Turn Left does not mean it's an endorsement by Indiana's own Dana Black. Everybody is on my Act Blue platform. I try to support everybody. All right. So Donald, tell the people who you are and where you come from.
I am originally from Indianapolis.
What?
My parents are from Indianapolis. They attended Tech High School. My grandfather had a drugstore at Martindale. If anybody knows where Douglas Park is.
Yep. Down the street from me.
Yeah, he had that. Him and his brother both had, I think, the first drugstores, African American drugstores, in Indianapolis. And so my dad came down here in '69 to go to school with the groups. The first groups class at Indiana University. And I followed a year later. Me and my mom followed a year later, and we were going to have a little sister, or I was going to have a little sister. And so my dad needed to take on a job, and he became the second African-American police officer here in Bloomington.
What?
And dagnabbit, and we ended up staying. So
okay.
That's how I've been in Bloomington for all 52 years, except for when I went off to school and studied at Hampton University. And I studied architect. I was studying architecture. I loved it. Ran out of money, which a lot of us do. And I had a 27-hour ride back to Bloomington on a Greyhound bus, and I had to try to figure out what I was going to do for that semester. And I went and I decided I wanted to wanted to work for a real estate company. And of course, they talk to me about sphere of influence and how none of the people I know have money because of my age.
Hmm.
And then they also mention, not a lot of black people buy property.
Mm.
So I don't know how I don't know how you're gonna make any money.
Because white people
And
won't
they
buy
say,
from you, right? Because
yes, that's exactly right. And I said, they said, you know what, get your real estate license and then we'll talk. And it was actually Talk to Tucker, which was just hilarious. A new program came out, and they didn't even know about it, where I could get my license in 2 weeks. And so at that day, the next day, I signed up for that class, and it started, or maybe it started right away. I came back 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later with my state license, and said,
wow.
okay, let's do it. Let's do it. And at the time, they gave me all kinds of restrictions. You couldn't go back to school for a year. You couldn't take on another job for a year. And I'm like, I'm 21 years old, so I'm just excited. And I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Let's go.
And let's go. Not realizing they just really didn't want me to do it. But I ended up in less than 6 months. I ended up being one of their top 5 agents in a group of 40 agents, and it became my career. And so I
Wow.
did that for 31 years. Started my own company 20 years ago called Griffin Realty. Sold about $500 million in sales over the years. And then Hamilton, the current mayor of the city of Bloomington, came to me and asked me if I would be his deputy mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that for almost 2 years, about 22 months. And then he with the intention, always the intention of learning how to run the city, because in Bloomington, there is one deputy mayor, and the job is for all the department heads to report to the deputy mayor. And so that means the police department, the fire department, legal, everybody. And your job is to run the city, so that the mayor, he has the big ideas, and he tells you, okay, this is what I want to do. And it's up to you to put those things together, give advice, but also put those things together. You're also, I think I was the acting mayor dozens and dozens of times. Anytime the mayor is out of town, you're the mayor. So, I went in with the intention of learning how to run government, with the idea of becoming the mayor eventually. And
Wow.
that's where I'm at now.
So what had you done prior to him being appointing you to get you civically engaged like that?
Well, at the age of 26, I was a redevelopment commissioner for a previous mayor, John Fernandez. And I remained in politics. One of the ideas with my real estate company is we want to be community builders. And so instead of investing in advertising, we invest in the community. That's how we give back. That's also how we you insert yourself in the community, making the community better. And not only that's not only my idea, but that's anybody who works for my company. We do that. We get involved, and so redevelopment commission. I was on several different boards and commissions over the years. Eskenazi Museum for the Eskenazi Art Museum for Indiana University. NAACP, I was VP of that, and then me and Nicole Bolden created the Black Democratic Caucus here, which I think I would say we're one of the most powerful caucuses in Monroe County now.
I love it. I love it.
And then yeah, I was the president of the Redevelopment Commission for 6 years prior to becoming the deputy mayor as well.
Wow, it sounds like you were like really ingrained in municipal politics there in Bloomington and in Monroe County. Was there something in your upbringing that had you focused on being civically engaged? Was it something that your parents instilled in you?
Um, yeah, I think it started with my dad being a police officer and seeing what my parents went through. Um, and let's be honest, you're in a predominantly white community. You grow up. It wasn't perfect by any means. There was a lot that went on that my parents went through. There was a lot that me and my two little sisters went through. And sometimes you can say to yourself, you know what, I can't deal with this anymore, and I gotta leave. Or you can turn around and say, you know, this is not going to happen to other people anymore.
Right.
This is, and so I need to stay here. If this is
Right.
if this is the home, if this is my home, I need to make it better for not only me and my children and other children as well. I don't want to see other people go through what I went through. And so sometimes it's up to you to say, you know, if not me, who?
Exactly.
And I was presented with so many opportunities to be upfront and to lead. And now it's up to me to help other, you know, I think true leadership is giving other people the chance to lead. So that's kind of what I want to do. That's going to be my administration. I'm going to give other people the chance to lead, because we're stronger when we have a bunch of leaders around us. And I can't do it by myself.
It sounds like you really have your ego in check for somebody that, you know, has been a successful real estate. And we already know there's stacks in real estate, but it sounds but it sounds like you have your ego in check, because you're talking about helping so many other people. Do you think that that's mostly what it is to be a mayor, the executive of a town, is to put your ego in check and empower all those other folks?
You have to be. If you're trying to be a one-man show or a one-woman show, you are missing out on a lot of people, especially a community like Bloomington, a small community with great minds. And what I see a lot of, and maybe that's why I'm picked so much to be on leadership teams, because people go with who they know. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's enough Black folks and brown folks and people LGBTQ plus folks, or people with accessibility issues. I don't think we're allowing enough of them to have a voice, and we are missing out on some great minds.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think, you know, there's a power struggle, especially in the Democratic Party. There's a power struggle, and this is not a knock on anyone in particular, but there's a power struggle between the old guard and the new guard, or the progressives and the blue dogs. Whereas, like in Indiana, they feel like there's some Democrats who feel like if they don't, you know, kiss the rings of all the Republicans, and we won't have a shot. They're not finna vote for us anyway. We might as well just go ahead and articulate who we are and what we stand for, because they're not finna vote for us anyway. They believe in Jewish space lasers. They're not voting for us, right?
You go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go. This your show, bro.
No. And you know, with that in mind, Dana, my whole idea of believing in Bloomington is this idea that we have got to, if we want other great minds and other progressives to come and make Bloomington their home, we've got to be loud about who we are. We have got to embrace all the things that we say we are for. We got to embrace diversity, inclusion, accessibility, and the sense of belonging. We've got to embrace the sustainability. We talk about that we're the best at sustainability, but it's got to be better than just the best in Indiana.
Right.
The things that we talk about, the progressive ideas that we claim are ours, we've got to say it loudly. We've got to say we are Bloomington, and we're different than the rest of Indiana. I'm sorry. This should be the home of progressive thought.
Yeah.
Right. This is where progressive ideas come we foster them, and then we spread it out throughout the rest of the state.
All right.
That's my vision. We're the blueberry in a bowl of tomato soup, and I want to be a big old blueberry.
Well,
Spread
I just need you Bloomingtonians to understand. Indianapolis is the big blueberry. I need y'all to understand that.
You're right.
Y'all can be our little sisters, our little brothers. Indianapolis is still the big blueberry, baby, because we voting Democrats in at 75%.
Okay.
Oh, here.
Okay,
So
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Indiana's all day to black, turd left, and I'm sitting here. I'm having a good conversation with my good friend Donald Griffin, who is running for mayor of Bloomington. Guys, if you like what he's talking about, click on his donate link. He's right there. So let's get into some nitty gritty stuff when it comes to some policies. One of the things I've been hearing from everybody all over the state, and in particular in Bloomington, the cost of living in Bloomington is actually higher than it is in Indianapolis. Right? I never get gas in Bloomington. I always get my gas. I fill up in Indianapolis. I let Nicole drive me around when I'm in Bloomington. And then I go back home with enough gas in my tank. But the housing crisis is what I'm hearing mostly. Affordable housing. You're in real estate. You have a unique perspective on the housing situation in Bloomington. But talk about what it looks like in your vision, and then some ideas that you have on how to address the affordable housing crisis that is looming in your city.
We don't have enough houses. We will not have. I was on a study that was done several years ago on housing and the need for housing, and we won't have enough housing for the next 7 years if we're going at the rate that we're going. And this was before we were looking at I-69 making it easier to get from downtown Indianapolis to Bloomington than it is to go to Carmel, and that's going to be a real factor in the need for more housing. We're already seeing it. We don't have enough as it is. I think we're going to have to look at everyone's not going to live in Bloomington. Everyone is not going to be able to live in a traditional, what we call a traditional house with a traditional yard. I think we have to look at that missing middle. We have to look at other opportunities. I think you need to look at duplexes and triplexes and fourplexes, looking at density in a different way. Bloomington only 38% of the folks within city limits own a house. Hear that. Let me say that again. And when I say house, I mean, I'm not just saying a house. I'm saying a condo, a townhouse. They're only 38% home ownership. We've got to change that around. And like you said, you're right. If you look at a $400,000 house in Indianapolis and compare it to a $400,000 house in Bloomington, you will be very, very disappointed in the Bloomington house. Very disappointed. Yeah, you will. It is. And keep in mind, my company, we sell, Griffin Realty sells in Indy. We sell all over the state of Indiana. And I love that. I see the effects. I see what you can get in Carmel or Westfield or Greenwood and compare it to Bloomington, and it's not even fair. So we've got to do better. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You keep going. You got to do better.
No.
I'm just curious though. Like, what is the cause? Like, no one's really been able to explain to me why in a town of 80,000. Why?
Yeah.
And I get it. It's a college town, which means you're getting revenue all of the time, right? Why is the cost of living in Bloomington higher than in a major metropolitan city like the million people town of Indianapolis?
Because it's beautiful. Let's just be honest. It's beautiful down here. People come down here without any idea of what they want to do, just to experience it. Our downtown is idyllic. You've got the university. There's always something going on. You've got the hills. You come here, think about the topography. All of a sudden, it gets hilly, and the top topography is beautiful. We got water. Our water's pretty tasty most of the time. I've tasted y'all's water in Indianapolis. I'm sorry, shots fired. I'm just playing.
My water's good. It's got enough fluoride in it. You see my teeth. I've been drinking the water for 52 years. You see my teeth? They big and beautiful.
I'm talking to I'm talking to my cousins like this all the time, and that are still in Indy.
Me and Nicole have this debate all the time. Like, I keep when I come down there, everybody's so nice to me when I'm in Bloomington. I ain't gonna lie. Like Trent Deckard and Mayor Hamilton, all the folks are real super cool to me when I come down there. And Trent be like, "When you moving home?" And I'll be like, "Trent, I need about a 500,000 person buffer."
Oh my God!
Look, it sounds like a good idea till I move down there. Eating chocolate sounds good until you eat too much to where you get a cavity. This is too much data to give you a cavity. That's all I'm saying. No, but I mean, so what kind of public? I'm still on the housing thing. What kind of public?
I'm back with. Go ahead.
I'm saying, what kind of public-private partnerships could we be looking at to help, speed up the need to create this housing to eliminate this?
Well, it's funny you ask. So this last 2 years, I've been working on things. So I've gotten the utilities folks as well as hand and planning together. And said, okay, I want you to go throughout the community, and I need you to map areas that are with plenty of utilities and everything else. I need you to map out areas that are underutilized. And my gosh, we found. And here's the thing: out of town developers are already doing that. They are tearing down hotels and putting up multi-unit apartment complexes. They are tearing down. I can think of an instance where someone tore down they bought a place, a group of apartments for $25 million, and flattened them out and is currently building another structure with much more density. We've got to start thinking like that. I'm not saying I want a high density areas for families. I'm not saying that, but we have to take that same idea, look at underutilized areas and say, well, what can we do with this? And I know there are people that are concerned. There's a lot of concern about core neighborhoods, people calling and actually I think that's wrong. What makes your neighborhood a core neighborhood and someone else's neighborhood not a core neighborhood?
Come on.
But they want that protection, and they don't and most of the folks are older. And they were able to work up to a house, and they have the money. They're the TAI craft folks, which they've gotten their retirement benefits from being teachers and being being professors. And let's be honest, you're a millionaire if you've done that. Anyway, they've got their own. They've seen the prices of their houses raise up. And I mean, I've had some of them come up to me and actually ask me, so how are you going to keep poor people out of my neighborhood? These are progressive folks asking me how we're going to keep poor people out of their neighborhood.
So that's that NIMBY stuff, not in my backyard.
I'm flabbergasted by this. How can we not see that there's an entirely new generation of folks that want to be in these, because these places are walkable, right? They're walkable to downtown. They're walkable to Indiana University. They're walkable to parks.
Right.
These are things that we need another and maybe you need to change it around and say, if your kids could come back here and live, or your grandkids, would you like for them to have a place to live? Wouldn't it be nice for them to live in your neighborhood? Oh, I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah,
well,
they can't afford it.
Should.
Yeah.
They can't afford it.
They can't afford it. I mean, and it's frustrating.
It is.
Especially when you know you want to stay in a place and they've priced you out of staying. And then we're talking about small town Indiana. All right, let's go on. I want to talk about some other issues that have come up. You guys over the last couple of years have really been debating the unhoused population and what to do with folks who some choose to stay out, right? Some choose to stay out. Some need help. Talk about what your thoughts on dealing with the unhoused population there in Bloomington.
As the deputy mayor,
am I hitting on all your talking points?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that kept me up at night, because the question that I was asked on a daily basis, several times a day, is, what are you going to do about the homeless? And I always had to wait to see what they meant by that. Half the time it was, where are they coming from? Can we put them on a bus and send them back? Wow. And the other time was, we're not doing enough. Where are the resources? What are we doing? What are we doing to help them? The city is not doing enough. And so I've had a chance to listen to both sides, and it's funny. Both sides are not talking to each other. First of all, no, my idea about believing in Bloomington means that everything that we do, we try to be the best at. And I think that also is how we need to treat our unhoused and the folks. And when I say unhoused, when we say unhoused, I think we're simplifying the issue. It's really a mental health crisis and a substance abuse crisis. And I think it's time out for the city and the county and the state to keep pointing fingers at each other. And I think we have to work together. But I know there's fear. There's fear from people who work in the industry that if we do too well, because Bloomington does do well, there are a lot of good agencies here doing a lot of work. But I think there's this fear that if we do too well, it's going to bring more people that need those resources into our community. And I think that scares people to death. But I think there's some sandbagging going on. I think we can do world-class things together. And yes, there will be strain. We have to figure out. I think we have to figure out a way to give the people that are working in the social services right now. They're not getting paid enough. We just talked about the housing here. They're not getting paid enough normally, let alone living in one of the most expensive places to live in the state of Indiana. We have to start looking at them as employees that are. We have to start looking at them like our police and fire. Yeah, Should we get some money together? Should we get money together so that we can give them stipends for rental? $300, $400, $500 to live within the city limits. The ones that we have are overworked. So I think we have to figure out, how do we get more people living in Bloomington and working in that industry. We also need to stop using our jail as a mental health facility. I mean, we do.
I agree.
I'm gonna. So there was this guy. I've heard this story, so I know it's real. So anyway, he goes into jail, right? He tries to kill himself by biting through his own wrist, and then they save him. But he's in there 5 days later. No change. Same guy. what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Why
Mm-hmm.
are we putting people? Why are we putting people that need help, the
Mm-hmm.
least of ours? Why are we putting them in? Why are we doing that, man? You know,
Well,
there's people that need. You know, we let's be honest. There are bad people that we all need to be protected. Even the unhoused. There are some criminal elements within the unhoused that are victimizing
mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
other
Other people.
unhoused
Yep.
folks.
Yep.
So we've got to learn to police that stuff. You know, we got to also the heart of Bloomington, and this is my more conservative side. So I may kick, there may be people that were writing checks for me just a minute ago, but then now I'm going to say something, and then they're going to like try to take it back. But we've got to start. We got to start talking to our. We got to start listening to our business owners.
Why
Okay,
is that? That's no, wait, hold up. Well, I don't understand why conservatives have a moratorium on business owners. I mean, you can care about humans and want to make a profit at the same time.
Yeah, I mean because some of the business owners we're talking about are progressive. I'm a progressive, if that's what I believe in giving back,
Yeah,
but
I
that
mean, you
doesn't
can be
mean
altruist.
I don't like writing $11,000 worth of checks to clean up my own business here, which I've
Wow,
had to do
wow.
because of needles, because of whatever
I
in
got
my
you.
woods.
I got you. I got you. So
You
you're
know,
saying there's got to be a better way to manage that for everybody involved versus just you're looking at it. In my opinion, you're looking at it in a much more nuanced way because sometimes we get our emotions caught up in it, right? And we
we
don't want to
we
look
we
at.
we have to look at both sides. We have to start talking to each other, and we're not talking. We're villainizing each other.
Well,
And
you
and
mentioned the jail, and I asked one of your primary opponents this last week.
mhm.
How did it make you feel in your town with the incident that happened at the jail?
Which incident?
Oh, there's more than one. I'm
I mean, you
talking
talking about the incident I just talked about? Or you talking about the incident where? Are you talking about the incident where they
the
had
cop.
to
Yeah,
fire?
yeah, yeah.
Uh, you, you know that boy was is he 18 years old? That was it. What that was in there?
I don't know the
The the
details
the
of the
the
inmate.
the I think the individual was an 18-year-old kid that had been doing this since like during high school. He'd been working. And I may be completely wrong about this, but this is what I heard. Um, you know, someone needs to be held accountable for everything. This just didn't start for the
Mm-hmm.
jail.
Mm-hmm.
The county folks that were in charge need to be held responsible for all this neglect, whether it's the building and the maintenance and how you train your folks. Horrible conditions. Um, and no, I am for who we claim to be as a community. I am embarrassed.
Wow.
But I like Ruben Marte. And
Sheriff.
I like the fact Sheriff Marte, right?
Mm-hmm.
He knows that idea. I tell this to myself every day, like when I have to say things that are not popular, that leadership is lonely,
Yeah, it is. I want no
right?
parts of it. That's why I want to. That's why I want to be in the legislature. I want to be with like 100 other homies. I don't want to be at the executive level. All right, let's
Uh-huh.
dive into your platform. Typically, every candidate has about 3 issues that they want to highlight as they're
hmm
campaigning. Enlighten us as listeners about the 3 main issues that you want to tackle that are or what you're talking about when you're knocking on doors or talking to constituents.
Okay. So I've got 4. I'm
All
sorry,
right,
but
no,
I'll be
I'll take
quick
all
about
4.
it.
I'll take all
No,
4.
no, no. So sustainability, I think Bloomington, we've led, we've done a lot of good things with our transit system. We're a green community. We're known for our green space. We've got and here's the thing, people always want to know plans. The thing is, we already have plans. We have a climate action plan
Wow.
that people spent a lot of work on. We need to lean into, there's 200 items in that climate action plan. I've got some extra things that I want to do. I think our busing system, our transit system needs to become regional. It needs to be 100% electric and as well as hybrid. I think that Bloomington is a gold standard bicycle friendly community, the only one in the state of Indiana. And there are 2 communities in the entire United States that are platinum, under 100,000, and they're platinum level. And that's Davis, California, and Boulder, California. I want Bloomington to be the 3rd under 100,000 town that is a platinum level bike community. That brings everything I'm talking about, brings economic growth and prosperity. The companies seek that. Smaller companies are people that are job creators. They look for these kind of things. Large companies look for these kind of things. The second one is diversity, inclusion, accessibility, and the whole idea of belonging. I think Bloomington, we've had that idea kind of, but I think we got stuck in the idea that we don't see color and we don't see differences. We need to be a community. The next chapter of Bloomington is a community that says, I see your differences and it's celebrated.
Yeah.
Our children, right? Our children need to know that they are loved here in Bloomington. There's going to be plenty of time outside of these city walls,
right?
That people are going to tell them that they are different, but with the frown on their face.
Right. Right.
Bloomington needs that. They need to know that Bloomington is home. I don't care what color they are, who they love, how they identify. Right. This needs to be home, and they need to know that they are celebrated. And my God, if we become a community like that, we've got so many different people we can be celebrating every week. Who else can do that in Indiana? Who else can do that in the entire in the United States at this small of a community? So
exactly. And I gotta jump in only because it's just for all of my white brothers and sisters, stop saying you don't see color. Stop saying it, because that's insulting. That's a suggestion that you don't see me for who I am. You see me for who you want me to be. Yep. and so please stop doing that. But go ahead. No. Because
look, Dana, I love being black.
Honey.
I don't think I could be anything else, and I want to be able to say that.
You should be able to say it.
I love you for right. I love you for you. I mean, you could be nobody else but you.
Exactly, honey. So I'm so black. They named me black, honey. They gave me the whole name. They was like, we're not even great. Mess around with this, sis. Dana Black. Look, Dana, unisex name, first name, last name Black. That's all you need to know.
You're crazy. I love it. But everybody should feel that way, right?
Yes.
Bloomington.
Yeah, I love it.
That's who we are. That's who we are. Housing. Like I said, there's. I want to be able to get 1,500 to 2,000 housing opportunities, affordable housing opportunities to purchase within the next 4 to 6 years.
Oh, I like that.
38% is too low, and people are like, oh, but there's, you got 45,000 students. I hear you, but there's there's other people that would love to live within the city limits. They just can't afford to, so they're outside of the city limits. Don't try to say, oh, no. I know, but don't talk to me about real estate. I know exactly what's going on.
I love it.
And I'm on both sides of that. I know the industry, and I know it from a municipality perspective, and I know how to do it. We're gonna have to. It's gonna take some work from the city and the county to work together to create opportunities, to create maybe doing some more land. What do you call them? I can't think of it.
Tips?
Anyway, we're no, 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 no. I'll come. Man, I've been up too long or something. I don't know.
You running for office, baby. You ain't supposed to sleep until November.
Yeah.
Or
You're
May,
right,
whichever
you're right.
happened, right. You're not supposed to sleep till May.
A land trust. I'm so sorry.
Land trust.
We need land trust where we still own the property, and it's another opportunity to sell property for far less that way,
Okay.
and also keep it down, keep it affordable. That's going to be the key. When we do go into these things, can we get people to keep it affordable for at least 99 years? Hamilton pushed that. I'm still going to push that.
I love it.
99-year affordability. And then the last one, let's see, what did I do? When we talk about cultural, and I want to push Bloomington to be more dynamic culturally and economically. We're becoming a community of have and have-nots, where you got a lot of doggone money, a lot of money. But then you got folks that are barely struggling. We need to figure out a way to bring in job creators that can help create, businesses here and create better paying jobs. We need more opportunities. I'm looking for the next Cook. I'm looking for the next Cook is a huge company here. I'm looking. We got Catalent, which is great. They came in with creating I think they've got to provide, and this is something I helped negotiate. They got to provide 1,000 jobs by 2027. They promised.
Hey.
But I really think we've got to make Bloomington iconic, because this is any company can move anywhere now.
Yeah.
And the best way to make Bloomington iconic is to focus on things that Bloomington is good at. That's all we have to do. We don't have to try to become something that we're not. We just need to be a better Bloomington. I think that lies in being an arts, music, and cultural destination of the Midwest, the premier arts, music, and cultural destination of the Midwest.
I love it.
We've got Indiana University here. We got Jacobs School of Music, one of the best music programs in the entire world. Look it up, folks.
Well, that's true.
If it was an engineering school, we would be calling it brain drain when we were letting people go. How can we engage these folks, help them create their craft here, hone their craft here in Bloomington, make this their home? They can still go and gig in Nashville, in Indianapolis, in Chicago,
Louisville,
in California, Louisville. But let's make Bloomington home. Let's create more business around that, whether it's a record company. We've got a record company called Secretly Group, which is a huge record company. We're the home of John Mellencamp. We're the home of Hoagie Carmichael. We're the home of, help me out, David Lee Summers, or David Lee Roth. But nobody needs another David Lee Roth. He was with Van Halen.
Yeah. Honey. Look, me and you the same age. We used to jump. We all did the jump. We all did that. I'm not even going to say it. Come on. With the big hair and the tight pants.
Yeah. No, I love that song. But no, we have so much talent here. Joshua Bell. We got people that are here and that have came from here. Let's make this a dynamic place for people, not only to make this the destination. So it's not only the destination, but it's also the home where people like the homestead where these artists live.
Yeah. Y'all even got the Dalai Lama, don't you?
The Dalai Lama, Kunga. One of my good friends, his name is Kunga. His uncle is the Dalai Lama, and so he has been here. We do have the cultural. We do have. Absolutely.
I love it.
All kinds of stuff down here, but I think people come down here anyway. We need to be intentional about that, right? This whole idea that this place of progressive thought. That's who we are, and that's where, your dude in Carmel, what's his name?
Which one?
What's the
There's a
the
whole
mayor of
bunch of
Carmel?
dudes in Carmel.
The mayor of Carmel.
Yeah, the one that's stepping down.
Yeah, the one that's stepping down. You
Miles
know,
Nelson is running for mayor.
yeah, I heard. Okay, I mean, people laughed at him about with his turnstiles and
The
what he with
roundabouts.
the roundabouts and
I
stuff
hate
like
them
that. 20
things.
years. I know you do, but Carmel has established who they are. I don't want to be Carmel. No, 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 no. Bloomington could never be Carmel.
No.
It's like a Disneyland version of Bloomington. But Bloomington can be the best Bloomington. He had a mission, and say what you will, but Carmel is doing well financially and just economically, and the opportunities for folks. It's not where I want to live, but it is. When you look at communities that are doing very well, they've gone ahead and found out who they are. Nashville, like we just talked about, that's one. Austin, Texas, that's another. Boulder, Colorado, that's another.
Yeah, okay, but see, I love Hamilton County and my Hamilton County Democrats. I love y'all. However, the reason why they do really well is because a lot of those folks have six-figure jobs in Indianapolis. And they take their little tax dollars back across the border and they build roundabouts. I'm just saying, I think Indianapolis needs to get some of that money. But anyway.
I hear you. I hear you.
They don't hear me though. And I know they're sick of me saying it. Okay, so let me ask you this. You have a contested primary, and the other candidates are fantastic. Obviously, we're not talking about them. We're talking about you tonight. Mm-hmm. But why are you the best choice for mayor in this primary election?
First of all, I have vision about where we're going, and not only do I have the vision, I actually have the ability. I know how government runs. I know how this government runs. Mm-hmm. I ran it. I ran it for 2 years. I know what I like. I know the things that I like, and I know the things I need to change. I know they're providing you with plans on how to change government, how to change it. Whereas you don't, if you have, it's like there's three-dimensional chess in front of them, and they want to change it to checkers or Connect Four. You have to know how to play the game. It'll take you forever there's not time to do that. That's the other thing. You have all these plans. People want to talk about the plans, but it's the day in, day out crazy stuff that happens that is on your desk the first thing in the morning, or at 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock at night. It's the little things on how to run government. It's being able to act fast and know how to put the right people together. So you have that. The other thing is, I am a creative person. This is what I've done. I created a company by myself. No loans, no what have you. I'm always creating. You need someone to know how to create. I'm not sure. I don't think any of. I think the other
we're not going to talk about them. We're just talking about you. Just talking about you.
Okay, I'm just saying. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I create and come up with ideas, and I'll tell you, sometimes people are like, "Nah, Don, no." But the ideas I'm talking about, these, the being a arts and culture and musical icon for the city of Bloomington, that's something that I had a study done for. The housing stuff, I've worked on that already. The things that I'm talking about, I created for diversity, inclusion, and accessibility. I've created a task force made up of not only the city, but also the largest employers in Bloomington, to create this task force to become a better community of belonging. So, and some of the plans, the accessibility plan, that's something that we didn't talk about. There is an accessibility plan that that it goes that's part of that DEIAB thing. So I didn't mean to go on and on.
It's
but
all good. I
I
think the confidence that you're showing, because you're trying to do something that hasn't been done, and that's not even the first thing on your mind. Your mind is like, let's just continue to grow Bloomington and let's keep moving it forward. And I have the experience by having been in a position to make decisions. Indiana's own Dana Black. I am talking to Donald Griffin, who is the candidate for mayor of Bloomington. Donald, tell the people where they can find you.
Find me at griffinformayor.org.
I love it. And I like
believe in Bloomington.
Believe in Bloomington.
Believe in Bloomington.
That's your logo. That's your slogan. Believe in Bloomington.
That's my slogan.
I love it. Indiana's own Dana Black. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and being my guest. I wish you the absolute best of luck in your primary race. I still have one more candidate in Bloomington who will be on next week. And then I'm bringing on the first of two candidates who are running for the mayor of Lawrence. So guys, Indiana's own Dana Black and Turn Left, we are bringing you the candidates who are wanting to lead your communities. This is, and I claim it, he wants to be the little blueberry to my big blueberry, but this is the premier spot to learn about the candidates that are on your ballot. I am here every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. And if you don't catch the live show, be sure to jump on over to the YouTube page, Indiana's own Dana Black YouTube, and you can also find me on Spotify and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Yes, like Apple, Google, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you will be able to find and take with you in your pocket Turn Left with your host, Indiana's own Dana Black. I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Be sure to come and check us out. Thank you, Donald, for joining us, and I will holler at y'all next week. Peace. Turn Left is the property of Black Pearl IT Solutions. Executive producer, Indiana's own Dana Black. Music by www.bensound.com.